here's why I get cynical about it.
No.
It's because me being the filmmaker, producer, whatever, I'm like, so much goes into everything that's going on right here on the back end, on the like production side of things, on the pre-production, post-production, everything that I'm just like, there's no way that I mean, I can understand how somebody might be comfortable in front of a camera after a very long time and just be like, oh, I'm just acting like myself, but there's still a camera there.
Oh, yeah.
There's still an element of like, that this is gonna get shown to other people. There's still an element of,
but that's because you understand that. Like, people don't understand that unless they have experienced that.
Sure.
Like, you can tell somebody and be like, oh, you're gonna be in front of all these cameras and stuff like that, and they might be like, yeah, I think that will be fine, like, or whatever, but they are not going to grasp it unless they're there, and by the time they're there, they're on a contract.
I also
and there's a lot of people that leave like halfway through it. There's a lot of people that are like, I thought I could deal with this, I can't.
Yeah.
This is not my fucking vibe. I'm not doing that.
And then on the other side of that spectrum, there's the like, watch how we live our lives kind of reality TV, right? Yeah. And then I oftentimes have a problem with that, because I'm just like, there's a whole camera crew inside your house and you're acting like everything's chill and normal, you're acting normal, and I just don't buy it. Even if it actually is true. Let's just say that it actually
that is very cynical of you.
Yeah, like I just don't buy it, because it also leads to the replication process of that kind of fame, right? Because like without a Keeping Up with the Kardashians, there would be no Ace family. And that
interesting.
And like you know what I'm saying? Like Keeping Up with the Kardashians is obviously a big production, high production, a big celebrity model, right? And then YouTube gives you the chance to like give you a replicate
like
of
a vlog, everyday vlog or whatever.
And then you get to then use it to your own advantage. And to, I guess, the Ace family's credit, as much as I don't like that thing, it gives you the blueprint to then say like, oh, like the Kardashians got a highest rated episode because of this. Okay, so then we need to like go ahead and do that. And then you can see it. You can see where like a David Dobrik might be like, is that his name?
Yeah.
Right. Like he might be like, oh, people really like the sensationalism of like betting 20 grand on red at roulette.
Yeah.
And all right, let me just go and do it, even though he's not actually losing that 20 grand. By that point, but by the time he chooses to make that video, even though you're watching it and you're like, oh my God, he's really gonna spend 20,000 of his own money. Nah, get the fuck out of here. Somebody gave him 20 grand because he's gonna make 100 grand off that video and the sponsorships and like, all this shit. So it's a small price to pay just so that you can click it. You know what I'm saying? So it gives you this replica of like what this could be, and then it gives you this false sense of reality because that's really not how people actually live their lives.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me for a second if any of the reality TV stars in terms of like the vlogging their life stuff. I don't know anything about the competitions or anything like that because I never watched them, but it wouldn't surprise me if their actual life when the camera's not rolling is like completely opposite. And they had to turn it on because like we talked about maybe last episode or a couple episodes ago, like without something entertaining happening in their lives, there's nothing to show.
Here's the thing.
Like,
and here's
there
why
can't be a season of just you doing nothing.
In the same way that you are like very cynical, like I'm always like, maybe I'm just naive, but at the same time, like Brenda has this phrase, like she's always like, acting is so fucking real, bro. Like that shit is real. Because in acting school, they would be like, sometimes you have this moment where you're like, oh, like nobody would react like that, or like nobody would say that. And then you are in your life and you're going to see somebody do that and you're going to be like, damn, some people dead ass be reacting like that. And I think that's my thing with reality TV. Like we watch it and we're like, that is so dramatic. Like no one's life goes through that much. But if I put on paper, like if I had to capture every single event in my life, people would also probably be like, that's bullshit. You're just looking for like, you know what I mean? Because in reality, like that is true. The thing is that we don't have it set up as like a storytelling moment. So then, you know what I mean? Like things happen and then you just move on because there's no promo behind it, I don't, there's no like.
But like, have you ever had something in your life or not something? Have you ever had 4 months of your life that's worth documenting?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
you
you
do.
have.
No.
The thing, that's what I'm saying.
think
It's like
you have.
especially you out of probably all of us the most, but you're just living life. You don't think of them as like events worth like. They're like
Right.
it was just life and it just happened
But
and
like
then you move
4
on.
months
The thing
worth
is
of
that
stuff that's like where you think people wouldn't get
First
bored.
of all, homie,
but
I'm
that's
the main
what I
character,
mean.
of
It's like
course.
they are recording for months and months and months, and then they're grabbing the best fucking moments.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I'm saying.
And they
yeah.
jam pack it into 19
Then
episodes
you
or whatever the
pack
fuck it is.
and then
yeah.
they build it up and they set it up in a storytelling way, and then
Right.
like that makes it obviously a lot better. And then months later, people talk about it because that's when it aired.
Right.
If your life was structured that way, I guarantee you it would be equally as entertaining.
Maybe that's a good point.
You know what
Maybe
I
that's a
mean?
good point.
Like,
I still feel like
The
even
thing
after
is
one
that
time
we don't
of doing
think
that,
about it because it happened, and then we're like, oh, that's life, and then we move on.
yeah, I feel like there's just too much money going in terms of a network, in terms of people investing in that product, that it's not coming out of like an individual person's or individual like company's pocket. It's like a network that like they can't renew a season unless they know it's going to be something exciting. Therefore, before even something exciting happens, they're like, we need something exciting to happen. We can't just roll the dice and expect
But also,
serendipity
there's
to
been
hit
a
your
lot of
life.
shows that have had one season, and then they're like, well, this isn't a good enough show, so we're gonna cancel
Right.
it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
So
right.
then I'm
But
like,
then once you get to,
if
like,
it
it
wasn't,
goes back
if it
to
was,
my-
you know what I mean? Like Rob and China was like the perfect fucking show. It's like, are you kidding me?
I don't know
Rob
that.
Kardashian and Black China have a reality TV. We're gonna get to see all of the fuckery that goes inside that relationship. It got canceled after one season because nobody wants to fucking watch it. Or I don't know why it got canceled. But the
Well,
point
I
is
mean,
that you know what I mean? It's
that's
like
a good
it doesn't
point. If
matter
nobody
if
wants to
you
watch
set
it, nobody,
up.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't,
like,
you can't
if it's
renew
not
it.
good, it's not good.
Right, but
and if there's
but I'm
like
saying
there's
that
stuff
after-
there to show.
I'm saying
So-
after it becomes successful, after you're at season 3 or season 4, and people are like, yo,
But
people
if
are really
already
watching
became
this, we can't afford
successful-
for your life to be boring.
I feel like
You know what I mean?
you'll also see like shows get more dramatic over time, and I think it's because they will purposely
Manufacture it.
like
Yeah.
and there are, I mean, I think watching what is it, Dance Moms, with Dance
Oh my
Moms,
God.
like some of the
yeah,
moms
there's
went
all that
and
shit,
did like talked about it afterwards and said how like there were times that like, let's say they just have a clip of somebody like zoning out, right? Because they're just filming them 24/7. So they have a picture of them zoning out and it looks like they like are angry or something. And then they put that like picture
Over.
right after somebody else says something. So it looks like they're angry about what they said. And they're like, I literally didn't care.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just like that picture
Or like
that video of me is just me.
like the thing that
not paying
get like
attention.
there's like cheer things and dance things about those kinds of things, and it's always like following two groups.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And going to like
Their
the
rivalries.
like the
Yeah.
national competition and stuff like that or whatever. I'm like, first of all, it's nationals. You act like there's no other great teams in the entire country, but I guarantee you at the end of that show is only one of those two are gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
never
And that's why
watched
I'm
those
like,
shows.
there was no other, like there was nobody else. It's just y'all two. Like,
Well, I
like you know
don't
what I mean?
know about
a
those,
national
but I-
competition,
I
and it was just
never
y'all
watched
two.
those
I
shows,
definitely
really.
think that the loved ones, there's a real aspect to it because there
also
is people who are
People
like
love. Like people
There's-
love
yeah.
romance.
It's true.
Like that's what I mean. Like The Bachelor is such a like.
But that's
they
also
have
why
like
I have
an
a-
11. They have like an 11% like what's it called like.
Success rate or
success rate, like it's so it doesn't fucking work. But you watch these people go on these like, and they fall in love, whatever that means. But you know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
fall
the
into this infatuation and like,
Yeah.
it's so fucking fun to watch.
And-
like
and
you know
that-
they're
and
not gonna be together. Everybody
Right.
knows they're not gonna be together.
Right.
But also every once in a while you would have that one couple that you're like, bro, what if they dead ass stay together? Like what? Like they might be it, bro.
That's
Yeah,
fucking
I get
wild.
it.
You know?
I feel like that's the same thing as like Dance Moms, where there were still all these kids that loved dance.
Yeah.
Like they wanted, and they had a dance teacher who was really into it. But then as they became more and more of these just like celebrities over focusing on like their dance career and stuff, then it just became like, okay, we have to like make sure that this drama keeps up because that's what's bringing people in, not the actual dancing.
Right.
Well, also,
And
Dance
dancing
Moms
is literally like a
should have been
4-minute part at the
illegal.
end.
And
Like, that show
the
should have
even more
been-
egregious part about that, to your point that you're making right now, is the fact that the show's not actually about the fucking kid.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
about the fucking moms.
Yeah.
And it's just encourages bad behavior when it comes to sportsmanship, when it comes to supporting your kids.
Dance
when it
Moms
comes
was
to
a
like,
fucking train wreck.
Get the fuck out of there. And I think that's the problem that I have with it, with reality TV
In general?
as like an underlying foundation, is that like once once somebody figures out a formula that's going to get a lot of people to watch, at that point, from that moment, even if it was genuine from the start, from that moment, your integrity becomes questionable. Because anytime after that something happens that brings more viewership in, it, for me at least, maybe I'm just overly cynical, which I can completely,
I don't even
take
know if I would call it